What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today. The purpose of this video is to give an accurate forecast into the future as to where the price is going to be. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, here we are. It is the 19th day of October, and here we are sitting at about $225 with 7 hours and roughly 30 minutes left in the day, right? We have dropped, and the expectation was, when we were at the highs here, that we would probably drop back down below $200. It's very possible that we do go lower, and I want to talk about those possibilities now. But there's also a chance that this was the low. So, with the rest of the market looking like it wants to shape up here, even though Zcash had a very robust movement, this movement might not be over yet. I am anticipating a longer form of consolidation than something that just lasts a week soon enough. But maybe you have one more leg in you before you do that, right? Maybe you move up to $300 or $600 or something before you do that. So let's look at this from a low to a high. You could be doing it now, but from a low to a high, you haven't hit your 236. So I want to zoom out again on the weekly. I think that this is appropriate. Maybe even this low is appropriate. You haven't even hit your 236, which, some people might look at that, especially if you're beginning using fibs, you might look at that and say, okay, well, it has to pull back here before it moves higher. But the thing is, what if this move isn't done? Like I was saying a second ago, what if this move isn't done? Then you don't have to pull back to this 236. Just like, I don't know. Let's see. From on a daily perspective here, from that low to high, we didn't pull back to this 236, but we weren't in really a phase of consolidation. Like, it was minor consolidation at best. Maybe we do have more room to run. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there, and we'll come back to this. Okay, 1 hour time frame starting here, low volume. It is the weekend, flat top with ascending lows. I guess it's kind of flat top with flat lows, really. Okay, so a horizontal channel after a downtrend. Typically, if you move down and then you move sideways like this, it's a bearish thing, but you're not moving sideways at the lows. You kind of broke out of your trend, and then you started moving sideways, didn't you? It's like you broke out of this trend and then you started moving sideways, so that's kind of bullish. If anything, it's like you moved up and then started moving sideways, which would be bullish. Looking at the indicators, the RSI, you do have lower highs and lower lows right now. It is as though you're in a downtrend. You can see it here, right? Lower highs, lower lows. But again, lower lows with higher lows is actually hidden bullish divergence, moving sideways even while moving down in the RSI. That's actually a positive thing. So I'm not really worried about that. The fact that you're lacking in volume, that volume is basically non-existent right here at these levels, tells me that you're very mature in this pattern. Typically, whenever you have low levels of volume, you do expect to see a breakout one way or the other. So, leaning toward the upside here, it would make sense that we might break out to the upside. The stochastics are bullish, of course, and the MACD overall does look bullish as well. It's on the 1 hour, so it's less significant, but hey, gotta admit, things look good for continuation, especially with Bitcoin looking the way that it does. But if Bitcoin comes back, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like if Bitcoin were to even see a lower low, that doesn't mean that Zcash has to go lower, right? We've seen Zcash go up even in the midst of a wicked drop like we did on the 10th of October. The 4 hour MACD shaping up a little bit. Still overall bearish, but you are shaping up a little bit. It would make sense that you go higher. I don't like the stochastics. I don't like that you're rejecting the overbought zone twice. What? 3 hours, 24 minutes left in this. So what you need to do now then essentially is, if you're watching this video right now, hopefully by the time you're watching this thing has moved up. You need to make a move. You need to not reject the overbought zone on your stochastics. It's vital. Okay. You need to break through. You need to get this to turn back up. Right now it's shifted down. And it's not because the candle's red, it's because you're not green enough. You need to be green enough to keep up with this momentum here to push this into the overbought zone. And if you can, you will break out of this zone. You will see a retracement likely of this move here. I think this was your move, man. I think that was your, I'm growing more and more confident just making this video that I think that was your low. I do think you go higher. I think you are due for a more serious phase of consolidation, but I don't think you go below this low. And even after you move up higher, I don't think when you consolidate, you'll go below that low either. I think that was a higher low. And you can see it here. You've got an A, B, C correction. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. Through Elliott wave theory, A, B, C corrections, it's like a staple, man. It's very signature. I don't know what word to use. A staple is probably the best. It's a standard. ABC. It's perfect. It literally looks perfect. I couldn't draw it better if I tried. It looks beautiful. It's a little lightning bolt, like the Harry Potter lightning bolt right there. And abracadabra, we're going to go higher. $226 right now. Stochastics, 3 hours, 22 minutes left. We need to push higher a little bit so the stochastics don't look like this. The MACD pushes higher, breaks through the 0. I think that that's good. And then the RSI here, you are breaking out of a downtrend, right? Downtrend here, you're breaking out of that. You're probably going to move higher. So yeah, I do see, and this is the 4-hour time frame, so 6 candles goes by, and that's 1 day. I do see that over the coming days, you know, over the next say like 20 to 30 candles, we're probably going to be moving higher. And that makes sense because going into the 29th of October, we're going to, I mean, damn, do we move up like that? I don't know. The 29th is all the way over here. We're going to have the FOMC announcement, the press conference. Jerome Powell is going to speak and talk about cutting interest rates again. So we'll probably move up into there. I really wouldn't be surprised, man. Zcash could be at like $400, $600 more than that, more than that by that time. Like, just look, think of it like this, right? The 29th is the announcement. I'm expecting crypto as a whole basically to move up into that, right? It'll probably be around here, like over halfway through the day, something like that. On this candle, literally right there will be the FOMC announcement. It's either this candle or the next one. Something. I think it will be literally this candle right here. If you're moving up at the same pace as you did here into that announcement, let alone here, let's assume that what you're doing is you're probably dying off, right? Like your pace was fast here. It died off a little here. Your next move is probably going to be slower than either of these moves. But again, just the thought here. What if you saw even just like a modest growth until that time? And there'll be volatility along the way, right? You might have stopping points here and there. You know, maybe you stop right here, something like that, and then you continue to rally. But what if you just move up like that all the way until the FOMC announcement? That puts you at 433. That doesn't seem impossible at all, right? I feel like I'm on the low end of the spectrum. What if we pick up the pace a little bit, you know? And again, throw in some consolidation phases. What if you move at this pace initially, you consolidate, and then you move slowly? Like I don't know. I'm just saying you're on a path higher, Zcash, and if we are to take a high to a low here, you know, what could make sense out of this current trajectory between now and then? Let's just zoom out. Maybe let's look at you on a daily time frame. I feel like it's easier to view on a 4-hour. Let's do it on a 4-hour. And then put this on the 29th right there on that 16th hour. Between here and then, let's do a channel. Let's go ahead and put you at the low. We'll put you right there too. And then we will get you going on. I mean, what? At the base of this channel, if we zoom in and look here, I should really change the colors. I actually made this channel whenever I was like in my early 20s, and it's not very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not very, it doesn't stand out. It doesn't really stand out. Anyways, these white lines, this might help it. And then the green lines, those green lines don't really stand out either. Let's do yellow. It's all the other colors that are lining up. That's what it is. We're gonna sit with it like this. Hold on, let me put it back. Price is at $314 at a minimum, at a bare minimum for at the end of this, if we're at the low ends of this range here. Price is at $631 at a maximum. That $631 target or $35 target right there, that lines up very well with your 2618 over here. Your golden ratio makes sense as well, 397. I'm very confident that Zcash, I mean, at a bare minimum, you would see new all-time highs, right? But that would be, you'd have to be moving pretty slow. I'm very confident that Zcash will be over $400 in the next 10 days. It's at $227 now. It will be over $400 in the next 10 days. I'm going to delete all the chicken scratch now that I have the layers on there. Can you see it? Can you see it lining up? Right? All with this line, this vertical line here. Let's change the color of this line so it stands out a little bit. Oh, that does not stand out at all. Let's make you yellow, sure. And then we'll change the yellow line into like another white line maybe. These are our fib levels, okay? The golden ratio, the 1618 and the 2618 here. These are our fib levels. This is the channel, and then this is the deadline right here. It makes a whole lot of sense that you're probably not going to be moving up like this until that time frame, right? Or if you move up first and then you come back down, that's fine, whatever. Maybe you're down here by that time, but at the very least, then you would still see prices above $400. It just makes a lot of sense, I think, that between your two golden ratios here, $402 to $631. I don't know how to make it more clear. I'm going to have to change the color scheme of this channel so that it doesn't clash so hard. I feel like that area makes a lot of sense based on your current given trajectory, right? Does that path look appropriate to you? I'm not being too bearish. I'm not being moon boyish. We're somewhere right in the middle there, right? Splitting that right in the middle. At a minimum 400, at a maximum over $600. I'm repeating myself. It's driving me crazy. Daily time frame, after all that work, let's delete everything. Looking at the MACD, you just crossed red, but I don't care. MACD is a lagging indicator. You cross red, whatever. You crossed red right here before you took off. Great, we're about to take off. Stochastics bouncing off the 50, lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price. It's hidden bullish divergence. That's a good thing. You look like you want to rally. You look phenomenal. You do look like you want to continue going higher. And then, of course, I want to take this as well. We came up with targets that were at $400 to $630, right? That made sense. Let's see, from a high to a low, do we have any fibs that line up with that area there? I mean, right there in the middle, 430 or 400, 630, right there. That literally splits it, the 2618. Maybe we stop there. Again, those lines that we had earlier, they weren't ideas as far as like what we're going to hit specifically, but more of the range that I would expect to see, something between 400 and 630. And then based off of this fib here, which is much more significant from this high to low here, right? Very pivotal moments there. This 2618, which is much more significant than anything we've looked at as far as fibs go so far, that one's right in the middle of that 400 to 630 range. It's like literally right in the middle. It's perfect. We identified the range appropriately, and I think we have an appropriate target here at the 2618, which will put you at higher highs than your last cycle. Not new all-time highs, but new all-time highs based on the Coinbase chart, but higher highs than your last cycle. Zcash is on a path higher, you guys. That's really all I got to say. That's the main essence of what it is that I am saying, is that Zcash is on a path higher. If we are to pull back, if everything I said was baloney, it's total mayhem and nonsense, then I would say, you know, from this low to this high might be an appropriate measurement. If we are to go lower, 166 awaits as support, 115 at the lowest. I should say maybe $86 at the lowest. And if you're watching this and you're thinking Zcash isn't going to go to $86, man, I don't know where you've been the past week, but crypto sees 60% corrections in the midst even of a bull market. So going back here really wouldn't be crazy at all. If you were to pull back there, that would be a higher low. That'd be a good area to find support, and then you can continue going higher with your parabolic movement there. You know, it really wouldn't be terrible if you did go back down there, but I'm not seeing that. I think you will see some kind of repercussions. You will, once you grow up here, you will see a big crash and then continue to rally. You know, but even when you crash, you might just end up at these same prices, maybe lower prices than here. But I don't think that this move is done. Therefore, I think this fib is probably irrelevant as far as where these levels are. As we move higher, perhaps what we'll see is that the 236 lines up with these all-time highs. The 382 lines up here. Maybe we top this move off overall at $700. I don't know, or something like that. But I'm rambling at this point. I'm going to end the video. I hope you enjoyed it. This one was fun for me. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.